One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. With her the kings of earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with the abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery: Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. In Revelation 17, we see the leopard-like beast from Revelation 13 again, whereas chapter 17 deals with the establishment of a theocratic governing system. Those who take part willfully exchange their moral integrity and worth for the necessities of life and such by receiving the mark of the beast, which is why they are referred to as a prostitute. The woman is drunk with the blood of the saints. Death and martyrdom of the saints. Lucifer's main objectives are to gain control on a global scale and destroy the saints in the process. The great prostitute will be punished by God. She is the great city. She rides and directs the beast. She is the bride or harlot of Lucifer, his one world governing system, contrary to the saints, the bride of Jesus. Those who take part in its administration will be punished by the 7 bowls and ultimately destroyed by fire. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. The term the great city is a parallel concept from the Old Testament. Under God's plan A, God designed that Jerusalem would eventually become the great city from which he would rule over all earth. Also see Psalm 48 verse 1-3. Under this plan, Jerusalem would have become so great in size that it would encompass much, if not all, of the land of Canaan. Zechariah 2 verse 2-5 speaks of Jerusalem being a city without walls because of the great number of men and livestock within. The great prostitute is defined as the great city that rules over the kings of the earth because the parallel is obvious. Lucifer, claiming to be God Almighty, will rule over the world when he sets up his one world theocracy. The great city spoken of in this prophecy will not have walls because it is a universal government. The great city is not a geographical place, but rather, the prostitute consists of citizens headed toward their final destruction. Lucifer will rule over the kings of the earth and they will use their civil authority to enforce religious laws. This is the result of Babylon's intoxicating wine. She sits on many waters, meaning controls the diverse nations of earth. Note that the continents are filled with people. Likewise, oceans are filled with water. In this analogy, waters represent a sea of diverse human beings in that water conforms to the shape and dimensions of the container in which it is put in. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her. They give the prostitute their civil power for religious purposes to enforce religious behavior. This is adultery, the union of church and state. The people of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. The wicked are willfully deceived. They refuse to believe the truth, and it is for this reason that God sends them a powerful delusion that they would believe the lie and be condemned. She has a gold cup of abominations and the filth of her adulteries. Note the character and appearance of the woman on the beast, a gold cup, attractive and alluring. She appears beautiful outwardly in her appearance and what she's wearing, adorned in jewelry, meaning she is rich, controls the world's wealth and the necessities of life, yet inwardly is disgusting and detestable. The mystery of the prostitute is that all those who chose to submit to her would rather rebel against a soon-coming vengeful God, violate their conscience and exchange their soul, their eternal destiny, in order to survive on this doomed planet for a short time. See Ezekiel 23 for parallel between ancient Israel and the coming great prostitute. This calls for a mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits, but also 7 kings. A king has authority, therefore he has a kingdom of subjects. Because each religious system has authority, it has subjects. Those who adhere to certain practices of a religion submit to its authority as truth and of its beliefs. Thus, the 7 religious systems of the world can be called kings, for they have adherents. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and 1 has not yet come, but when he does, he must remain for a little while. The vision John is receiving occurred around AD 95. As of that date, 5 heads, hills, or kings had fallen, religious systems of the world: atheism, paganism, Judaism, Islam, Eastern mysticism, Catholicism, and Protestantism. Hills, or mountains, are used as an analogy because in ancient times it was believed that deity lived in the mountains. See Psalms 43 verse 3 and Daniel 9:20 for reference. The title Islam, as used here, refers to the ancient religion of Ishmael. Even though Muhammad lived during the 6th century AD, Muslims hold that Ishmael, the first offspring of Abraham, is the founder of Islam. The 6th head, Christianity, was just beginning in John's day. Eventually, this head was called the Roman Catholic Church. John was a key character of this religious system, but it followed in Israel's footsteps. It became a false religion and blasphemous over time. The power of the Catholic Church was severely wounded in 1798, but the deadly wound will be healed during the 4th trumpet. The 7th head appeared on earth around 1500 AD and is called Protestantism. When we consider that 6 of the 7 religious systems have endured for 2,000 years or more, the lifespan of Protestantism is short. The angel tells John that he is going to explain the mystery of the woman and the beast she rides in verse 7. Then verse 8 proceeds to start with the beast that comes out of the abyss, the 7-headed dragon. The purpose of this is that one must understand the dragon, the devil, before understanding his government. The beast that you saw, it was and now is no more, but is about to come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. And those who dwell on the earth, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast that was and is not, and yet will be. Note that the beast the woman is riding on is scarlet in color. We see this in verse 3, and is still the leopard-like beast from Revelation 13. Think of the woman and the beast as a puppet. The red dragon, the devil, is the hand inside controlling it. Thus, when John sees the woman riding on the leopard-like beast in Revelation 17, he notices it is scarlet in color because the devil is the power within the beast.